Hello and welcome. I'm Johnny, I'm an engineer, and you want your app to have a fancy font. Using a custom font is one of the easiest ways to establish brand identity. Unfortunately, it's also one of the easiest ways to harm your core web vitals, and therefore the user experience and your SEO. Services like Google Fonts make it much easier to use different fonts on your website, but connecting to an external CDN for them introduces extra latency, and your loading strategy may cause layout shift. In their latest conference, the Next.js team reminded us how well their font optimization feature has been doing. So let's set it up in our app. First up, let's find our font. We've got one specified in our Figma design, but if you're just winging it, I suggest going to Google Fonts, type in your app's standout sentence or company mission, and selecting what you think looks best. Let's select just the font weights we mean to use. Let's copy this one line, the one with the href, to the actual font. We won't be pre-connecting to anything. The font is gonna get in via Next.js build time magic. So let's move to our IDE to paste that somewhere. That somewhere is in the capital H head tag Next.js provides. Our app is just the one page at the moment, so we've only got that head tag in our home component. Indeed, there's a head, let's paste our line inside it. That's it as far as Next.js setup is concerned. If your app has multiple pages, you may be using a custom underscore document for your common head code. The idea is the same, but paste inside that head instead. We'll do it together in a later episode when our app too has multiple pages. For now, let's render the font we brought in. We need to specify where we want to use that font. Traditionally, that's a CSS file, but we're using Tailwind here, so let's open Tailwind config.js. We want to specify that for our theme, our font family, sans for sans serif, is going to be an array with the name of the font, inter, plus a fallback to sans serif. And there's the font. Woohoo! We can name these whatever, but Tailwind will apply the sans font by default. So if we want to name this something like boring instead, we'll then need to apply it to our HTML ourselves. We've got a Tailwind CSS file from a previous episode, so let's go there and specify that in our base layer, we want in our HTML tag, which surrounds everything, to apply the font boring we just created. Great, back to working, but let's not end on a boring note, let's bring in a fancy font. Let's search Google Fonts again for a handwriting font. Indie Flower looks good, select it. We've got a different Google link to copy and paste now. Switch that around. Alright, back to our Tailwind config, we now have a fancy font. This one's got a space in its name, so we need to wrap it in double quotes. And it falls back to cursive. Alright, now we could use our apply trick to apply to all H1 elements, if we fancy that. Or we could use a utility class whenever we need it, like so. Awesome! I don't think Ari will approve, but hey, we've had our fun. What's your favorite font? When in doubt, I go for Montserrat. Do keep the video suggestions coming too. I do appreciate them and put them in my production pipeline. I've had the next episode shot for months, but I've been stuck in editing. It's just too long, so I pulled up this quickie to get unstuck. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you around.